That's very rude. I'm sat right here.
Yeah, why are you here? Why are you
Hey,
here? I'm on my phone,
guys!
though. Don't talk to me when I'm on my phone. You know that.
Sorry, Robin's being totally rude, and he's just ignoring everyone on his phone. So.
Sorry about that. So welcome to another one of our live video, guys. We are stoked to have you on board, and today we are going to be going through all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. But why are we the one answering the questions?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Robin, because we are the team behind backpackerguide.nz, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide, and it's 100% free for you guys. It has so much information on there, literally thousands of articles about traveling in New Zealand, as well as different ways of traveling around New Zealand, different awesome hidden gems to find, and all that sort of nitty-gritty stuff in case you're on a working holiday visa or on a visitor visa. The New Zealand ETA is a thing now, so make sure you go on the website and figure out what that is. And by the way, this is Robin and I am Laura. So every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, we do this live Q&A session for you guys. So you can come into the live chat and ask your questions about traveling in New Zealand. And just to give you an overview of what times that is around the world. In the US, that's on a Saturday at 4 p.m. EST or 12 p.m. PST. In Europe, so UK, France, that is 9 p.m. on a Saturday evening or 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening as well. Or in India, that's on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. So let us know where you guys are from on the live chat.
And where are you guys from? Tell us.
What time is it where you are?
All right, so let's get started by saying hello to everybody on the live chat. So we have Mean Age Shahal. Good morning. How are you doing? He's asking, is even Cargill more expensive than other cities? Cargill is about the same price than any other cities in New Zealand, except that I think rent is a little bit cheaper because there is not that many people there. So it's not like a really popular city like Auckland. But other than that, it's actually quite decent. It's a pretty cool place to live in. So yeah, you should definitely go there. That's cool. Charlie says, sorry, I have to go. Thank you very much for joining us for a minute and a half, Charlie. That was really awesome to have you on board. And Zubayo saying good morning. He says, hey guys, how are you doing? I missed 2 live sessions. Well, we're pretty happy that you caught this one.
Yeah.
So take a minute to tell us where are you guys from in the live chat. That'd be really cool. And if you do have any questions, just pop it in the live chat. In the meantime, while you guys are asking us some questions about traveling in New Zealand, some other people have asked us questions on Facebook or on YouTube comments. And so we're going to go through those ones just so everybody get plenty of answers. All right, and we're going to get started with probably the most popular question we received this week. We actually had 4 different people asking us the same question. So let's get started with that. And it's Alina Sanovic on Facebook, which asks, I would like to ask about the weather in New Zealand in August for my trip, please. Can you do one of your videos with the map? Because we will be traveling both islands, please. Thank you very much. I love your videos. Boom. Weather in August. Laura, grab the map. I'll be back.
Okay. All right, so I'll just give you a sort of an introduction to New Zealand in August. So August is the final month of winter in New Zealand. So needless to say, you will need to have some warm clothing with you if you are traveling around New Zealand during August. It can be a little bit chilly, the temperatures, but it's usually because it's the end of winter, sort of the worst of the weather's usually passed by that time in terms of like the rain and stuff like that. And you get a few more sunnier days. But on top of that, because it is winter, it is actually the quietest time to travel around New Zealand. So as a tourist, it's actually an awesome time to travel around New Zealand.
You get the country to yourself.
Exactly. And yeah, any other tips you want to give about August?
About August, I will make sure to check the road updates, especially if you're traveling by car or around the country, just because of some rainfalls and some snowstorm that sometimes can, kind of affect the traffic, and you may have some roads which are closed. So make sure to pay a bit more of a closer eye on that. It's not absolutely terrible, and it's not becoming chaos in New Zealand in August, but it's always good to be aware of that. Also, if you do rent a car, make sure to take snow chains. They all have an option for you to get snow chain if you're planning on going to the mountains. If you're not planning to go to the mountains and you're just following the coast of New Zealand, you're not going to need the snow chains. Now, one thing about snow chain is that if you do plan to actually go to the mountains and you need to get snow chain, make sure you know how to use them, because we've passed countless time people on the side of the road that are in a rented car or rented camper van that are trying to put snow chain and never put snow chain in their lives. And so it's a little bit harder. So make sure you watch a YouTube video about how to make snow chain, for example, which is quite cool. And aside from that, I think that's pretty much it. It's one of the quietest times, so it's awesome. And usually rental and accommodation and activities are pretty cheap in August, so that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the weather.
Yeah, so the thing to know actually about the weather in New Zealand during August or any time of the year is that the weather really varies depending on what area of New Zealand you're in. So that's why we bring out our map for these videos to show you guys what the average temperature would be in different sections of the country. So let's get to it.
All right, let's talk temperatures. So we're going to go through every kind of areas of New Zealand and we're going to talk about all the temperatures. All right, so for August in the northern New Zealand, which is Northland, Auckland and Tauranga, it's usually about 12 degrees Celsius and that's 53 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the average temperature in August. Central North Island for Hamilton, Taupo and Rotorua, that's 8 degrees Celsius and 46 degrees Fahrenheit. For Southwest North Island, which is New Plymouth, Palmerston North, and even Wellington all the way at the bottom, it is 9 degrees Celsius, which is 48 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the Eastern North Island, which is the Wairarapa, Gisborne, and Napier, it's about 10 degrees Celsius, and that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit on average in August. Moving on to the South Island now. On the northern South Island, which is Blenheim, Picton, Nelson, Abel Tasman National Park, all of those beautiful places, it's about 9 degrees Celsius, which is 48 Fahrenheit. Western South Island, which is Westport, Hokitika, Milford Sound, that's 6 to 8 degrees Celsius, which is 42 to 48 degrees Fahrenheit. In Eastern South Island, which is Kaikoura, Christchurch, and Timaru, it's 7 degrees Celsius, which is about 45 degrees Fahrenheit on average in August. Inland South Island is Lake Tekapo, Queenstown, and Alexandra. That's 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. That's the coldest part of the country at this time of the year, and that's about 39 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. And in southern New Zealand, it's Dunedin and Invercargill. That's 7 degrees Celsius, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, in August, there is also a lot of rainfalls. To be fair, there is a lot of rainfall in New Zealand all year round, but August is a month of the year that receives a lot of rain. And the good thing about that is that there is a lot of short rainfall. So the rain can come and go for like an hour only because we are, we are an island, right? So it's not something too bad. But let's go through all of the regions again. The average rainfall in August for Northland is 140 millimeters. On Central North Islands, which is Hamilton, Taupo, and Rotorua, it's 110 millimeters average rainfall. Average rainfall for Southwest North Island, New Plymouth, Palmerston North, and Wellington is 120 millimeters. Eastern North Island, which is Gisborne, Napier, and Wairarapa, it's about 70 millimeters. Northern South Island, Blenheim and Nelson, that's 80 millimeters. The least amount of rain is here. And the most amount of rain is on the western
West Coast.
West Coast, yeah, the west coast of the South Island, Western South Island. That is Hokitika, Westport, and Milford Sound. That's between 240 and 430 millimeters. Eastern South Island, Kaikoura, Christchurch, and Timaru over there, it is 70 millimeters. Inland South Island is 30 to 60 millimeters. So that means that there is also a lot of rain right here. Sorry, a lot of snow right here. So that's why I was saying the least for here. But this one here has less rain, a lot of snow as well. And southern South Island, so Invercargill and Dunedin, is 70 millimeters. So here you go for like kind of the average in August. If you're planning to travel in New Zealand in August, that's the kind of temperatures and rainfall that you'll be able to experience right here. Now, with that in mind, we're going to point you a few areas that you may want to explore in New Zealand in August, and it starts with Northland.
Yeah, so Northland, you might want to go here because usually it's the warmest part of New Zealand, especially during winter, and that's why it has the nickname the Winterless North. So if you really want to avoid as much of the cold as possible, that's a good place to go, and it's got some awesome beaches to check out.
Nice. What about the central South Island right here?
Well, this is going to be probably one of the colder places to visit, but I mean, if you're here in winter and you want to see some awesome winter landscapes, especially with all the snow-peaked mountains, that's where you're going to get all those amazing landscapes. And if you're into skiing and snowboarding, there's definitely going to be a lot of options to do that, as most of New Zealand's ski fields are in the central North Island.
Another awesome place to visit during August is central North Island as well, because there is Mount Rapu, which is the largest ski field in the country. So obviously, if you're coming in August, most people would want to actually do some skiing. And also nearby, there is Taupo and Rotorua, which both have amazing hot springs. And there is nothing like a nice hot springs to just, let the cold weather pass. So yeah, so that's kind of our tips for where to visit in August. Now, really quickly, I'm just going to give you a few things that you absolutely need to pack when traveling New Zealand in August, and beanie, scarf, woolen socks, thermal underlayers, all those kind of things. You absolutely want to have them. Have a rain jacket and have some waterproof hiking shoes. That's really important to have waterproof hiking shoes, because there is nothing that ruins a hike more than wet feet on the cold weather. I can tell you that it is not fun. So yeah, so that's our take on the weather in August. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below, put them in the live chat if you guys are watching this live. If you are not watching this live, we do that every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, because we do new videos every single day. All right, let's go back to the live chat right now. Rugby Lover 81. Oh, that's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
Useful info about the weather in August. 3 weeks today, I arrive in New Zealand for a month.
Awesome.
Ooh, that's awesome. So you're gonna arrive in August. So here you go. You know what to pack now. Any other question, Rugby Lover? Put them in the description. Sorry, not in the description, in the comments right now. Sagdas say, hey, how is it like to experience New Zealand? All the best. That is the genuine question.
Most generic question
The experience in New Zealand is really awesome.
Yeah, obviously we are massive fans of it, since we have got a whole channel dedicated to traveling New Zealand and experiencing New Zealand. So
I am very confused about what to say.
Where to begin? If you like outdoors adventures, if you like being in amazing landscapes and maybe experiencing a Polynesian culture and that sort of thing, then yeah, New Zealand is an amazing place to experience.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you want to know more in depth what it's like to experience New Zealand, you can watch a web series called New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year, where Laura and I did hit the road for an entire year, and we do 365 days, 365 activities. So if you do watch those videos, there's actually more than 365 videos. There's probably 390 videos. If you watch those, you're definitely going to have a really good overview of what it is like to experience New Zealand. We go through every single activity one by one. It's really awesome. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's on this channel right here. So just go on the playlist and you'll be able to find that. Maybe that's going to answer your question. Other than that, I don't really know how to answer that. So sorry. Lucas say, yo, Lucas, how are you doing? Hessian. Oh, Hessian, that's been a while as well. Welcome back. Says, hello, Laura and Robin. What is the best method of transport to go to Milford Sound from Queenstown?
We could make that a full question.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
All right. So Hessian on YouTube ask, and Robin and Laura, or Laura and Robin, what is the best transport method to go to Milford Sound from Queenstown?
Well, there are plenty of different transport methods, as I'm sure this is why you're asking the question. It can be a bit overwhelming to choose, but we'll go through some of the different types. And if you can't choose, there's always different combinations that you can do. So one of the really common ways to get to Queenstown is to do a bus tour. Most bus tours depart from Queenstown, but there are some bus tours also departing from Te Anau, which is about an hour's drive away from Milford Sound. So the bus tours from Queenstown and Te Anau, they all pretty much take the same sort of route and they stop in the same places. we'll go through some of the places that they stop. Do you want to go through some of the places that they stop along the way, or?
Okay, so the first one, if you're leaving from Queenstown, you're actually going to stop in now. There is a nice little lake right here. You won't have that much time usually to just pick up some extra people. Hey, it's not one of the stop where you get out and experience it, but there is a coffee shop. I think there is a gift shop as well. You can check out the lake, so you get about like 10 minutes to yourself to actually check out the place while they pick up some more passenger and keep going along the way.
Yeah, so also from there, that's when you start to do some amazing stops on the Milford Road on your way to Milford Sound. So like I said, every single bus tour does pretty much stop in the same places. One of the first places you'll stop at is at the Eglinton Valley. This is a vast valley with awesome mountainous landscapes, and it's just an awesome photo stop. All the buses, they park on the side of the road because there's so much space there, and you'll get plenty of time to hop off the bus and take some photos there. Then you'll move on to a really short walk called the Mirror Lakes Walk. And here is a beautiful reflective lake, reflecting mountain views in the lake itself. So you do get to spend about 10 to 15 minutes there taking photos as well. And then either on the way to Milford Sound or on the way back, if you're taking the bus tour, you'll stop at a short walk called the Chasm. And this is a really awesome walk through beautiful fjordland forest. And along the way, you will get to stop at, you'll get to see this awesome sort of chasm that's been carved from all the rocks washed down from the mountains. It's a pretty impressive sight.
But it's a really short walk. So if you're not feeling fit or anything like that, it's about like 10, 15 minutes at the most. It's very short. And it's boardwalked, so it's very easy to walk. It's accessible to everybody.
Yeah. So so after that walk, then you will be making you'll go through the Homer Tunnel, which is really awesome. It's a super long tunnel that goes right through the mountains. And then you will arrive at Milford Sound, where usually people would be taking a cruise through Milford Sound. So that's one option. You can be taking the bus there, and usually a lot of people do take the bus back. This whole day is about an 8-hour day. Maybe more than that, maybe 8 to 10 hours day.
Yeah, 10 hours day.
So that's one option, definitely. And the benefits of a bus tour is that obviously you don't have to drive, because that is a long way from Queenstown. Or if you don't have your own rental transport, for example, that's definitely a good option. Another option for getting to Milford Sound is to drive yourself. If you do have a rental car or a rental vehicle, there's definitely car rentals available from Queenstown, or if you have been traveling around the whole country, you'll be traveling around in your own rental car or camper van anyway. So again, obviously the benefits of driving yourself down there is that you can choose obviously what stops you want to do. There are some really awesome extra stops that the buses don't do, but if you do have your own transport, then you might be able to make the time to do it yourself.
On the other hand, I mean, driving down the road from Milford Sound, it's pretty long, and because you're focusing on the driving, you don't enjoy the sceneries as much. We personally prefer, out of bus or car rental or bus or camper van, we do prefer to actually take the bus. Also, finding accommodation down in Milford Sound is really hard. You get Guns Camp, but it's quite far away from the actual sound and seeing everything. And you've got the Milford Sound Lodge, but it's really often fully booked, and it's rather expensive. So I personally more an advocate of taking the bus. It makes everything so easy. And usually people that travel around New Zealand anyway tend to drive every single day, going from one spot to the other. And this would literally give you 10-hour drive in one day. It just can kill a trip. It makes you exhausted. It's not as enjoyable. So I usually say take the bus. But there are also other options to go there much faster, to have some grander views, and but they're slightly bit more expensive.
Yeah, so your final option for going down to Milford Sound is by taking a scenic flight. You can take flights to Milford Sound from Queenstown. I think you can take one from Wanaka, and you can also take flights from Tianau. Now, obviously, this is the fastest way to get to Milford Sound, and with that, it comes with some really awesome views from a bird's eye perspective. But obviously, this is the more expensive option. We are talking like hundreds of dollars here. So yeah, that is the most expensive option. definitely if you want to fly there and back, but there are alternative options for that. So you can there's a lot of combos available where you can fly down to Milford Sound. They actually do have a little airport at Milford Sound. You can do either fixed wing flights or helicopter flights. And when you arrive in Milford Sound, you can take your cruise or whatever activity you might want to do in Milford Sound, and then you can jump on a bus tour back to Queenstown or Tianau. So so that's another way to just make it a little bit less expensive, but you also get to enjoy 2 different ways of experiencing Milford Sound with a flight there and a trip on the bus back.
Yeah. It's a really awesome way to see a lot of Milford Sound, and there actually have been some movies film around the area with the helicopters and everything. Like which one was this?
Mission Impossible.
Which one?
It was like the latest one. Yeah.
Anyway, one of them. So there've been movies there. There's also Wolverine that was filmed there as well. So there's really a lot of movies that have been filming just right here. So being able to see them from bird's eye view is absolutely awesome. So it's definitely a really great way to see it if obviously you have the budget. If you have the budget. If you want to cut down the budget, you can take like the flight down and then the bus up, or the bus down, or the flight up. So you can mitigate a little bit that. But either or, you will get a cruise down there as well. And so a lot of people ask us to compare like all the different kind of buses and everything. And we do have an article on backpackerguide.nz about that, and we'll link to it in the description below. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions of your own, put them in the comments below. We're here every single week to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. And obviously, like and subscribe, because that helps us a lot. And we do those videos all the time, so we can plan your trip together. All right, let's go back to live chat. Haitian, hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, he says, thank you, Laura, very useful. Hey, thank me as well. I said almost nothing. All right, Sagdas says, it's been almost 6.5 months since I applied for a working holiday visa. 20 days ago, they sent me some questions that I answered. Is there anybody who has the same situation? Immigration in New Zealand is notoriously slow. So, yeah, there's probably a lot of people that have a slow process. It does happen, sadly. So all you can do is patience.
Yeah.
Zubaya says, Robin, which big city have more forests than beaches? And at the same time, it's also have quite well transport system, hospital and restaurant. Wow, you're pretty specific right here. Okay, more forests than beaches. You're gonna want to go around Rotorua. It's also quite a big city. It has a really good public transport system there. It has quite a lot of nice forests and lakes to visit around. Also some really nice mountains. It's a really amazing place to live in, and it does have a lot of restaurants. There's even a nice little pedestrian-only streets, meaning that there is no car there, which just restaurant right here. So it's pretty awesome.
It's called Eat Street.
There you go. So if you want a place where you have some good restaurants, may as well pick a place that literally has a street called Eat Street.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. But no, they have really good buses around Rotorua. We actually do have a full guide of the public transport on backpackerguide.nz. So if you go on backpackerguide.nz and then you go on on City Guides?
No, it's in work actually.
Okay.
No, it's in accommodation.
Okay, yeah. The city transport, City Guides, and then you have your accommodation guide and your public transport guide. So it's under accommodation there for Rotorua. Or just type transport Rotorua in the search bar, and you'll be able to find it. So it's a really good. City to live in.
Yeah, except for we don't have that article. So
okay. Oh well, Laura's going to do it for you. Cool. Finally, Haitian say thank you, Robin.
Yeah.
And Hamed say thank you, Hamed. Welcome. So while you guys are getting warmed up and preparing some more questions for us, we're going to go through some more of the questions that we received during the week. All right. So we are going to go through the question from Reggie Matthew on YouTube. He said, I have a question. So, Reggie Matthew says, I have a question. So, if I book a flight from IAH to Auckland and Auckland to IAH, IAH is the Houston airport, if you guys don't know, and from Auckland to Queenstown separately, while returning, do I have to go to the baggage area and get my luggage and then go to the check-in area to catch a flight for Auckland to IAH? How far is it from the domestic baggage area to the international check-in? It seems like a long question, but I just clear my path to make sure that I do the right thing. All right, so the Auckland, in short, the Auckland International Airport, let's just talk about it a little bit. Let's just give you a bit of pointers right here. So the first thing that you have to know is that every single time you book your flight separately from 2 different airlines, you will need to actually go get your luggage, except if you do like transfer from, airline that will have the same kind of, they will be in the same network and that's been all booked together and everything. So they arrange those kind of things. But for domestic flight in New Zealand, you are literally in a different terminal as well. So yes, when you're going to check in your luggage, you're not going to check in your luggage to Houston. You're going to check it to Auckland. And that's what gives you the clue on do you need to pick it up or not. It's basically when you check in your luggage and they put a sticker on it, does it say Houston or does it say Auckland? If it says Auckland, you have to pick it up. If it says Houston, you don't. And that's the same thing all around the world. Your number one clue when you're about to panic about your luggage, right? When you're like, I don't know if I need to pick up my luggage or not. Everybody has this thing, especially when you transfer. If you fly from Europe to New Zealand, you may do a transfer in Singapore or in Dubai. And you may be like, what do I need to do with my luggage? How does it work? Because you will change plane, right? If that happens, just look at your luggage when you check in, like literally when you're about to, when you give your ticket the first time, and they're going to put a sticker on your luggage, on the handle, and on there, whatever destination it says, this is where you're going to be picking up your luggage. All right, so that's the number one thing that you've got to know right here. So, to answer your question, Reggie, I'm 99% sure that from Queenstown to Auckland and then Auckland to Houston, you're gonna need to get your baggage, collect your baggage and then go to the international airport. But because there is a 1% I'm not sure of, check when they put the sticker on it and see if it says Auckland. Then you pick it up in Auckland. If it says Houston, you pick it up in Houston.
And you can always ask in when you actually check your bags in. Always, you can, if you're really unsure, just always ask the check-in person, like, do I need to pick up these bags?
I trust paper more. I trust paper more than asking people.
Look at the paper and ask the people, and just you definitely. It's easy enough to find out the answer, especially when you get there.
Yeah. All right. So yes, you're gonna have to collect your luggage. Once you collect your luggage, then you need to make your way toward international airport. That's something that a lot of people actually ask us about. How far is the domestic to the international airport? How do I get there? And then how big is it? The first thing that I want to point out is that Auckland Airport is one of the smallest international airports I've ever been in. If you've been to Hong Kong, if you've been to Singapore, if you've been to New York, if you've been to Paris, all of those airports are about 3 or 4 times the size, or at least it feels like. Sometimes it feels like 10 times. I mean, in Dubai, you feel like, oh my God, it's just it's 2 cities. So the Auckland airport is relatively small compared to all of that, right? So you're not going to get too lost. There's no need to panic too much. It's not that bad. But with that in mind, the international terminal and the domestic terminal are 2 completely different buildings, not quite far apart, but far apart. They're not as far apart as, again, some of those big airports. They even have a train line between all these terminals, right? It's not that big, but it's very much separated. So you will have to actually move from one to the other.
Yeah.
Let's move from domestic to international.
All right. So there's 2 ways that you can move between the terminals. The first way is to actually take one of the buses. There's really regular buses which pick up right outside of the exit to the domestic terminal and take you on a trip which will literally take about 1 or 2 minutes to get to the international terminal. And these buses, they run, I would say, about every 5 minutes. They're going back and forth the whole time. And this is definitely a good option if you do have a lot of luggage, maybe if you just don't want to walk, because that's going to be your second option. So that's definitely an option. Makes it easy to get between the terminals. Alternatively, you can walk, because they are that close together. You can definitely walk within about 10 minutes. Usually I'd say about 7 to 10 minutes is the walking time you need to go between the domestic terminal and the international terminal. And to get between the 2 is super easy, because there's a big marker on the floor. It's been painted, this big line. I can't remember what the color is, but I think it's a green line, which goes along the footpaths, takes you on a journey to the entrance of the international terminal. So again, this walk will take you about 7 to 10 minutes. You can definitely take one of those trolleys for your luggage and stack that up for your luggage and make your way across there. There's a few things to see along the way. There's a car park, there's a bus stop, There's a little seating area where you see
there is a water fountain, so you can you can rehydrate what
exactly
you walk.
about halfway through the walk. You can get some water and you know, refresh your palate and keep on going. But yeah, that's definitely. Usually that's what Robin and I do because we just can't be bothered waiting for the bus. We would rather walk, and like we feel like walking might be a little bit faster because you don't need to wait for the bus.
Yeah, and to be fair, when you're between flights and everything, you want to stretch your legs.
Exactly.
You also, you know, you want to have a little bit of exercise to be able to deal with the jet lag afterwards. You're about to embark to like a 10 or 12-hour flight after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I cannot suggest like advice enough to actually walk and not take a bus.
Yeah. So one thing we'd finally like to mention about this, about going between doing a domestic flight and an international flight, is to actually make sure that you do have enough time to check into your international flight when you're doing a domestic flight, then an international flight. Obviously, the usual time period that airports suggest for checking in to an international flight is 2 to 3 hours before your departure time. So try and not make your domestic flight only like landing 15 minutes before your other flight departs. That would be absolutely nonsense. You need to actually make sure that you have enough time. And also it's super stressful trying to make flights which are super close together. Yeah. The whole time you're just a ball of stress. You start to make mistakes when you're trying to figure out where you need to go. So definitely give yourself enough time to get from your domestic flight to your international flight.
Right, so that is all our tips for like the Auckland airport. Just know that you do have some time to be able to, just know that you're going to have some places to be able to kind of rehydrate and all those kind of things as well. There's plenty of coffees, plenty of food places as well. So, you're not going to be completely lost. It's not a whole foreign airport. Yeah. Sorry, if you do have any questions, put them in the comment below. If you do have a sip of water for me, just put them in, just comment with a water cup emoji. That'd be lovely. And
is there a water cup emoji?
There must be a water cup emoji.
Michael Mariano must know. He's got plenty of emojis.
20 emojis. All right, and obviously like and subscribe if you like this video. All right, let's go back to live chat. Hamed says, how much cash can we have at the moment we enter in New Zealand? So technically you can have as much cash as you want. Let me just explain. You can have as much cash as you want. But if you do bring more than 10,000 New Zealand dollar in cash, you will have to declare it. You have a bit of paperwork to fill up. So it's kind of up to you to decide how much you want to bring. Usually we say the limit is $10,000 because nobody wants to do some extra paperwork. There is actually quite a bit of paperwork. There's a whole form.
Is it a cash border control?
Yeah, it's kind of a big one. I'll show you what it looks like if you want. I have it on my phone because that happens sometimes.
Because I'm always traveling around with 10,000.
But yeah, so that's a border report right here. So it's a full form, and you got like all of that to fill up and everything. So all those border reports right here is paperwork that you have to fill if you bring that much money, and it's a form which is 5 pages. So it's kind of up to you if you want to go through that. You have to answer some questions. They're going to ask you what you're planning on doing with the money. It's not that bad, but just bring 10,000. You'll be able to use your credit card and your and your debit card.
I mean, obviously for safety reasons, it's not really recommended to bring that much money in cash. And when they say 10,000 New Zealand dollars, that's all the foreign equivalent.
So that'd be 6,000 US, I think.
Yeah, for instance. So, and also, do bring the equivalent to 10,000 New Zealand dollars in cash. You have to declare it. You have to actually put on your passenger arrival card that you basically tick that you have that much money or more, and you have to declare it at customs, because if you don't declare it, you are likely to get an instant $400 fine. So that's another thing to note.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Michael Mariano says aloha, everybody. So aloha, Michael. Aloha. Oh, he found the water.
Yeah.
That's not water cup. That's water splash.
I think that'll do.
Yeah. Kapil says, I've got a day in Queenstown. What should I go for, Milford Sound or outdoor activity, example, bungee, skydiving, etc.? All right. So, Kapil, the things to do in Queenstown one day, we can actually suggest lots of those things, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Kapil, we are going to be talking about it for about 10 minutes. Are you ready? Kapil on YouTube asks, I have got a day in Queenstown. What should I go for? Milford Sound or any other outdoor activities like bungee jumping and skydiving? All right, plenty of things to do for one day in Queenstown. Honestly, Milford Sound is probably one of the best things to do there. There's multiple ways to go explore Milford Sound. You can take a bus down there and back, which is a whole day tour. It's really awesome. You don't have to drive and you enjoy it. You can even take a bus down and then fly back. You get to see plenty of things. There's a cruise down there. It is one of the it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. It has been called the 8th wonder of the world. So definitely something worth checking out. However, if you don't feel like sitting in a bus for 12 hours, there are plenty of other really fun things to do in Queenstown. And the thing we're going to be suggesting to you right now are widely different than, being mesmerized by the breathtaking views of the fjord and national park. They're going to be a bit more like adventures and everything. And the first thing I want to start with is probably one of the most fun things I've done in New Zealand, and yet it's very ridiculous. It's called the luge. You take the gondola up the mount. What's the mount?
Bob's Peak.
Bob's Peak, yeah. So you take the gondola up the Bob's Peak. Over there, you get some great views of Lake Wakatipu and the Queenstown town. And then there is the luge down there. So it's basically kind of a little go-kart without an engine. And you go down the hill and you go crazy and you race each other. And it's a lot of fun. And they have a motto over there that says, once is never enough. And it's very true. We literally cannot stop when you get started. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Another thing to do.
Well, thinking about activities you can actually do at the top of the gondola, on top of that, you can do one of the bungee jumps in Queenstown. It's called the ledge bungee, and they actually do the harness around your waist. And this is so people can do a freestyle move as they jump off the ledge. So you could do a karate kick, you could do a star jump, you could dive or whatever.
Or you can almost pass out and not do it like I did on our video. So you may want to check this one out in the description.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that to do as well. There's also a zip lining tour, which departs from the top of the gondola as well. So you can do, I think there's about 6 or 8 different long zip lines, which go through the forest on its way down the mountain. So that's a cool thing to do as well. And just those 3 activities alone, you can do in a day because they're all really short. Yeah. Do you want to go through some more?
Yeah, whitewater rafting is really epic in Queenstown. You get some really amazing canyons to whitewater raft through, and there's even a tunnel that you can whitewater through. So it's absolutely epic. It's definitely worth doing as well.
Yeah. All right. You could also, like you suggested, skydiving. Yeah. There's actually 3 different companies you can choose from around the Queenstown area. There's End Zone, which is probably the most famous one, but there's also it's called Skydive Southern Alps now, which are based in Glenorchy, but they do pickups in Queenstown, and they are one of the best rated ones. There's also Skydive Wanaka, which also do pickups in Queenstown, but that gives you an alternative scenery and maybe gets you to see something a bit different to the Lake Wakatipu scenery that you're seeing as you're staying in Queenstown. So definitely that will maybe take you about maybe a couple of hours because there's usually a lot of waiting around before you do your skydive. So bear that in mind.
Another really popular thing to do in Queenstown is doing jet boating. Especially on the Shotover Canyon. So you're going to be doing an absolutely crazy drive to get there. You're not driving, the bus driver is driving, but it's one of the world's most dangerous roads. It takes you through an amazing canyon, and then when you're down there, you are taking an epic jet boat, and then you go through the dangerous canyon again to get out of there. It's really awesome to do, and it's one of the most popular things to do in Queenstown. You get to see some really well hidden places around the country, that's for sure. Another one is Nomad Safari, right? Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah. We'll go for that one next then. So Nomad Safari is basically a 4-wheel drive tour. They do several different options. If you're really into the Lord of the Rings, they do an option which takes you to Glenorchy, which is where Isengard was filmed, and a few forests as well, where you get to take some photos in different Lord of the Rings locations. Or you can do a little bit of a more adventurous 4-wheel drive tour, which takes you to Arrowtown, and there they go through all the rivers with their 4-wheel drive vehicles, to stop along the way and have some afternoon tea with cake and coffee. And you also get to do a little bit of gold panning, see if you can find some gold in the river. So there's also plenty of hikes to do around Queenstown. I mean, let's name them. For example, you can do like a 1-day section of the Woodburn track, which is
absolutely breathtaking. It's really amazing. And I would take you as a drive along Lake Katipu, which is really beautiful. You can actually hike up Roy's Peak if you want to. I mean, you know, if you do have the legs for it, you can do Ben Lomond track as well, which also give you gorgeous views, and it's quite an exercise as well. So there is plenty of adventurous hike to do there as well. So in short, the good thing about Queenstown is that you have more options than you will have time. No one will have enough time and budget to do everything in Queenstown. The hell, we tried. We did a lot in Queenstown. We spent 2 weeks. We did 15 activities. We even did canyoning. I didn't even mention canyoning.
I was about to say that before, canyoning. So if you have a full day, there's lots of different full day canyoning trips, which will take you to various parts of like national parks and things like that. So that's a really awesome adventurous activity you can be doing from Queenstown. But there's also some half-day options as well, which we actually have a video on. We did one of the half-day options, which was a short drive from Queenstown. So yeah, definitely consider that too.
So in short, Milford Sound, if you're keen for sitting in the bus for a wee while, yeah, definitely do it, Kapil. But if you are not sure about that and you want to do something adventurous, oh my God, you get so many options.
Yeah.
So we'll put a few links in the description below of the video. We'll put you some links of like things to do in Queenstown and just some of our recommendations. So make sure you check those one out if you are interested in diving into more, more into the subject, and like and subscribe because, well, that helps us. We help you. Everybody's happy that way. All right, let's go back to live chat.
Sai
says, I love you both. Oh, thank you very much, Sai. We love you too. Message redacted. Zubair says, do people go to Chatham Island? How developed it is? It's actually one of the rare places in New Zealand we didn't get to go to. It's really expensive to go there. Yeah. The flights are crazy expensive. I think the last time I checked out, that was $1,200.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, people definitely go there because I remember I was waiting. There, I was waiting at the Wellington airport, and I did see the Chatham airline flights going, and there was for that flight, there's about 6 people that get on it, and then they go. So
it's mostly locals. There is like a couple of accommodation. We actually do have a guide of the Chatham Island that we've done with the information that we gathered from the local tourism organization and those kind of things. So we give you a bit of a pointer, but there is limited amount of accommodation. There is a couple of really amazing hikes to do there, but that's basically it. There is some those hex kind of.
Hexagon columns.
Yeah, basalt
columns.
There's some basalt columns to check out over there, and obviously there's some amazing seabirds and everything like that. Yeah. But do people go to the Chatham Islands as tourists? No. To be quite honest,
not often,
really. No, it's very, very rare.
So yeah, it's definitely less developed than the mainland of New Zealand for sure. So what people who do want to go visit there, what they do is they go and do a homestay, and usually the people that they're staying with, the locals that live on the island, basically you spend most of your time with them, and they take you around. They show you what's what. It's definitely a very different experience to mainland New Zealand. So you can't really do a lot of things independently there. You will need a guide and someone to basically drive around. There are some car rentals, but yeah, I think it's just best to sort of, if you do a homestay, the locals will sort you out. Okay.
All right, cool. The next person is asking, please make a video about colleges. Which one are the best one in New Zealand? So we don't know much about
colleges.
Yeah, colleges. No, we're not an education channel right here, so we wouldn't be able to advise you on that. So I think you should find your information through college advisors and all those kind of things. Could be more what's good.
Yeah.
Kapil say, thanks a lot for your advice, guys. You're very welcome. There are a lot of options to decide in Queenstown, that's for sure. Do you like add all my comments and what I read?
Yeah.
Also, what can I do in French other than the heli hike in outdoor activities? There is an awesome kayaking.
Yeah.
Check out the videos. Have you actually watch our videos about like all those activities to do in New Zealand? We have video. Every activities we mention almost, we have a video about it, just so you know. So you can check everything we're talking about right now. You can see us doing it for about 8 minutes. So yeah.
Active Lake is really cool. There's also quad biking you can do there. There's several different hikes. We have a whole list of hikes which we put on backpackerguide.nz. Again, if you go on our website, backpackerguide.nz, and go in the search bar, type Franz Josef, you will have plenty of options to check out there. There's also some hot pools in Franz Josef. So yeah, relax in some nice hot pools.
You talk about a kiwi bird.
No, so there's also a wildlife centre there, the West Coast, I think it's called the West Coast Wildlife Centre, and this is a good indoor activity to do. They have sort of a breeding programme for native New Zealand kiwi birds, so you can go and check out
places where Lake Matheson.
Yes, that's in Fox Glacier. So
it's a short drive.
Yeah, so about 20 minutes drive away from Franz Josef is Fox Glacier. Again, we have loads of different walks there, one of them being Lake Matheson, which takes you around a beautiful reflective lake there as well. And yeah, in Franz Josef itself, it's got plenty of eateries, you know, places you can go and get a drink, have some food. There's an art gallery there as well. You can go and carve your own jade stone and greenstone and stuff like that, which is like a Maori traditional thing. So yeah, hopefully that's enough stuff for you to think about.
Capil, just so you know, if you go on the channel, right, there is a search bar on not the top one of the YouTube one, but just below the pictures on top, there is a search bar on our channel. It's a little icon of like a search something. You click on there and then you just type Franz Josef here, and you're going to have a ton of our videos about Franz Josef, all the things to do there. We have received so many questions about, you know, which one is the best heli hike and all those kind of things. You get all those information just right here. So use the search bar on the channel. It is so useful. I use it all the time to answer you guys' questions. So yeah, use the search bar on the channel. It's so good. Hamed says, could you tell me how to adapt soon in New Zealand as an immigrant? For example, getting a job, mortgage a house, finding friends, and so on. Thank you. All right, so for getting a job, we have 3 or 4 videos about that. So check those videos out. We tell you everything from the CV to how to look for jobs and everything like that. For mortgaging a house, we have no idea. We're a travel channel, so we're not financial advisors. And I think that would be absolutely crazy for us to give you this kind of advice. So don't ask us about financial advice. Finding friends and so on. Finding friends, some of the best way to find friends is joining Facebook groups. You have plenty of Facebook groups depending on your interest. You can also find Reddit groups, which are really good. So all of that is online. But you can also talk to your neighbors. You know, you can go and basically the more you go and you do things, the more you're going to meet people and make friends. You know, we move a lot, right? Because, you know, we're travelers, right? So we move kind of a lot around New Zealand, all of that. And we find friends quite easily because, well, that's what we do. We just, you know, we do things. And when you do things, you tend to meet people because other people do things. And usually the thing you decide to do are things that you like. So the other people that decide to do the same thing may be kind of like-minded, and it's an easier friendship. Yeah. So that's kind of my advice right here. But it's like everywhere, you know what I mean? You just get on with life, and you know, friendship usually happen. You don't make them happen; they happen. Kapil says, if you guys ever plan to visit India, let me know, and I would really like to meet you. Well, it looks warm and pretty. I'm kind of keen right now because it's winter in New Zealand. So I can tell you right now, I'd go to India because it's really cold here.
Yeah.
Sai say, listen, I learned many new things about New Zealand from both of you. I'm from France, so I need to know more about Christchurch. Is it cool for international students? Sai, bonjour. You want to know more about Christchurch? Well, same thing. We get plenty of. You type Christchurch in the search bar, but all in one word. You have Christchurch right now. Christchurch is one word altogether. Okay, so you type Christchurch in one word in the channel, and you have plenty of. You're gonna have plenty of videos that's gonna show you what to do and all the things that we like about Christchurch, how to find a job, the public transport, all of that. We have videos about all of that on the channel. But if you do have any specific question from us, Sai, just write it down. But otherwise, it's a bit hard to answer questions about knowing what. Explore New Zealand, the landing in France. Don't know what this is regarding to, but hi, how are you doing, mate? So Explore New Zealand, he has a channel about tips about traveling in New Zealand as well. It's a good channel. We met him when we did a meetup in Oakland.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Hey.
So yeah, just make sure you guys click on his name or type Explore New Zealand and check out his channel. He's running some tours as well around Auckland. Sai says, tell me, is it easy for international students to make a driving license as soon as possible? Converting your driver license is actually pretty easy.
It is, yeah. We actually do have a whole article on backpackerguide.nz.
If you have a driving license.
If you have a driving license, yeah. So if you have a full driving license from your home country, it's pretty easy to transfer that, basically convert that license into getting a New Zealand license. You go to usually an AA office, the
auto
insurance place. There's one in Auckland, for instance. In the big cities is where you'll find them. And yeah, we do have this whole article on backpackerguide.nz about converting your license, and goes through the step-by-step on how to do it. There's a form to fill out. You'll have to get your photo taken for your new license. It's a very easy process, and then you get your new license. You either go pick it up or you get it in the mail. I think you might.
Yeah, it depends. It depends what you choose. You choose the option.
Yeah. So yeah, go on to backpackerguide.nz. In the search bar, type in driver license, and you will find the article you're looking for pretty easily. But in terms of getting a new license, well, you will probably have to do a few tests in New Zealand, and
you're better off coming to New Zealand with your license.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
So Sai doesn't know your name. So this is Laura. And I'm Robin. It says you look like his sister, Linda. So he's going to send us a picture.
Okay.
Cool. Send us a picture on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook, send private message there. And Zubair says, what are the best locations for stargazing and nearer to a city? Stargazing, Lake Tekapo is pretty awesome. To be fair, let's be honest. As soon as you get out of the main cities in New Zealand, stargazing is pretty awesome because we don't have that much light pollution, but we have a dark sky reserve in the country. Yeah. So
the International Dark Sky Reserve in New Zealand is in the Mackenzie region, which is in sort of the inland South Island, around Mount Cook, Lake Tekapo, Twizel area. And it's been given the name of the International Dark Sky Reserve because it is one of the best places in the world to see the night sky. And you're asking where to go nearer to a city. Well, the problem is with cities is they do have so much light pollution that actually gives you less of a good view of the night sky. So the key is really to get as far away from the city as possible. A good place to go, I would say, near Dunedin, which is a city, is the Otago Peninsula. This place right here, which is a peninsula that sort of comes away from the city. This is one of also the best places known for seeing the Southern Lights, also known as the Aurora Australis. And yeah, that's basically the southern equivalent of the Northern Lights. If you've heard about the Northern Lights, they're those green sort of swirling lights in the sky. Well, in New Zealand, you can see a similar sort of thing from the southern hemisphere, from the South Pole. And so in Dunedin at the Otago Peninsula, that is a famous place for seeing the southern lights, and again for stargazing. And that's because the peninsula is actually sort of away from the city, and but it's still an easy place to drive to from the city.
Sai is saying, send me your Insta ID so I can share a picture. So it's at backpackerguide.nz. It's pretty simple, at backpackerguide.nz. If you see the name of this channel right here, that's how you find us on Instagram. Easy as. Explore New Zealand says, sorry for the vague comments. I was saying that the landing in French Joseph is a great eatery and bar.
Oh, yep.
He knows it's good food. The landing, great place to eat over there. If you're in French Joseph, that's for Capil that was asking for things to do in French Joseph.
Good tip.
Sai said, well, in this October, I will come to Christchurch. How can I meet with you? Because you have done a great job. We travel around New Zealand all the time, so we usually post on Facebook where we're going to be going, and if someone want to meet with us and everything, we never really know where we are, so we can't really tell you. It changes very often, so just keep up with our Facebook page and all those kind of things, and then you know where we are at and everything like that. And actually, I was just mentioning that we did meet up with Explore New Zealand when we went to Auckland. We just invited a few people to come have a drink with us, and that was basically it. It was quite fun. So Sai, how long are you going to be spending in Christchurch? Are you staying there for a while? All right, guys, it is 8:53 right now. We have time for probably about one more question. So make sure to fire up all your questions that you have about traveling in New Zealand right now, because otherwise you're going to have to wait an entire week for us to be able to answer your question. And so, that's a bit long. So make sure to ask us your question right now. Explore New Zealand said that was great. Yeah, it was really
great.
fun. Yeah. We didn't have that many people, which was really cool. We got some time to chit chat with everybody, and someone got half price on the skydive as well, which was nice. That's quite cool as well for birthday skydive on top of it. So that is fun. That was cool.
Sai says he's got. I got my postgraduate visa, so that is pretty awesome.
Hamid says it is 1:23 a.m. in Iran.
Oh man!
Oh my God! First, he's from Iran, so he speaks Persian. So where, Chaturi, I think that's how are you?
Okay.
I think no, Salam. No, wait. Salam Hanum. That's hello, sir. I think that's correct, right? Hamid, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. But, yeah, cool. 1:23, go to bed. That is what I wanted to say. God damn it! What the hell is wrong with you? 1:23. Why aren't you sleeping?
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
Yeah, but
pretty
come
awesome.
on.
He says good. I assume that's because of what you said.
Yeah, look at that. I'm almost ready to go in Iran right now. I'm ready to speak Persian. I'm going to immerse into the culture. So yeah, cool. And Kapi, thanks Explore New Zealand for the kind advice. That's pretty cool. All right, so one of the things that a lot of people have been asking us lately is about the weather. So we just wanted to take the time to tell people a little bit about the fact that New Zealand has extremely changeable weather. It's not because you hear that August is the month that's going to have the most rain, or that July is the month that's going to be the coldest, that you're going to have a terrible time in New Zealand. It's definitely not the case. New Zealand is it's a big island, but it's still an island. It's still rather narrow, and the weather passes really fast in between, in between one coast to the other. So really often, if it says it's going to be raining in the afternoon, it's only probably going to be raining 1 to 2 hours. Some odd days it's going to be raining the whole day. Like, I'm not going to lie. Some days it does rain the entire day, but it's really rare. Usually the weather flies by.
Yeah.
Today, since we've been awake, honestly, it was raining this morning. Now it's a beautiful sky, and I do not see any clouds there's a tiny one over there.
Yeah.
There's a tiny cloud over there. So you've got to know that the weather passes really quickly. And yes, we advise you to pack a rain jacket for any month traveling in New Zealand, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna have to use it at all. It just means that you need to be prepared just in case you don't want to be completely drenched.
Yeah.
Anything to say about the weather? Are you good?
No.
I just want to reassure people. I hear that so much, and
you can be easy. It's easy to prepare for the weather, so just still go on with what you want to do throughout the day and stuff. Just at least be prepared with the right clothing, and it's always good to have a day pack with like some backups and some essentials in there as well. So we've got an interesting question.
Yeah, Zubai says, of the track question, off topic maybe. I heard that there is dog attacking farm animals at night. Are the street dogs quite dangerous? I've never heard of that. And we live here. What? No, there is no dogs attacking New Zealand. That would make the news. We have no news here. There is such a lack of news that literally someone getting a medal for spelling bee is actually making the front page of the newspaper, and I'm actually not making that up. There is almost nothing happening in New Zealand, so no, dogs are not attacking everyone. What is going on? No, there is very little stray dog. Yeah, a lot of people have dogs because it's more of a countryside kind of countries.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of farmers that do have dogs. They use them to round up the cows and round up the sheep, which is pretty cool to see. But yeah, they have dogs.
I think that's just a bit of a rumor right here.
Yeah, that's quite. I wonder where you've heard that from.
Yeah, and I wonder what happened? Like, why would people say, maybe one time one thing happened like that, but that doesn't mean like humans are being hunted by packs of dogs. It's not. No, Zubai, you can come kind of safe right here.
You can rest your mind and you can sleep easy tonight knowing that the dogs will not come and attack you in New Zealand.
No panic. Hamid said that's fake news. I don't like the term, but I agree. Say bye-bye. God bless you, and thanks for your valuable advice. You both guys are amazing. Ooh. Is it easy to make friends? How Kiwi treat international students? They are interested to make friends. So one of the things you're gonna find is that Kiwis are rather lazy. So unless your level of English is actually good enough to be able to communicate with people, you're gonna have a bit of a harder time making friends with actual Kiwis, right? They're not really big fan of having to make all the effort to try to communicate. But after that, as soon as you're good at communicating, super easy, very easy, super friendly. Yeah. Everybody is really nice and everything, so you'll be all good with that. In the meantime, you'll have plenty of friends. If you are here to study, you're gonna be plenty of friends at school.
University is like the best place to make friends. Like everyone else is in the same boat as you. Everyone's gone to, even if they're locals going to a university, usually they're really keen to make friends because it's the first time people are leaving. Usually, first time people are leaving home by themselves. Everyone's sort of in the same sort of situation. So everybody is really keen to make friends. Yeah. So at university, you'll have no problem making friends. Everyone else will be making the same effort to try and make friends.
Everybody come here. Every international student come with the same problem than you. So everybody's going to want to be friends. Yeah. So Emperor, hey, how are you doing? That's been a while. Glad to have you on board. Says, as we want to travel light, where can we donate clothes and gears in New Zealand? Any of the op shops. So op shop stands for opportunity shops. You can leave them there. You can put them in a bag and literally leave them in the front door, and they'll be happy to sell it for the cause. So you can choose whatever cause you prefer. You can give to SPCA for the animals. You can give to the hospice for the old people. You can give to the Salvation Army for God. I think it's
like homeless people.
Is it? I thought that
it's a religious group, but I think they help homeless people, I think.
Okay, well, here you go. So you can choose your cause, which is quite cool, and allows you to pick what you want to do. So
there's just people that have second-hand stores for the shits and giggles.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also leave them in a hostel and, like free things to give it to other backpackers.
Yeah, and, some hostels have like a box of like free stuff. So you can put it in the free stuff box.
Easy as.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities in like every single town has like a op shop or a charity store. Yeah.
And Zubair, last question of the day. How often do you face sandflies on the beach?
In summer, quite often. Actually, not in the beach.
Hey, listen, we've done New Zealand's biggest gap year. We've been annoyed by sandfly 4 times out of 365 days. So, I mean...
the sandflies are more likely to be in, beside rivers or lakes, basically...
Where they stand still water. They prefer stand still water. Like the still as the water. So if you have a river that has like a bit of an eddy or a bit of a standstill pool on the side, then that's where the sandflies are going to be reproducing and having fun and everything like that. On the beach, not that much because the water is always moving and they don't like that much. So so it's closer to fresh water and closer to standstill water. But again, we done 365 days on camera, and you see us be annoyed by sandfly twice or 3 times. So that's basically it. So I'd say a week of the year if you travel an entire year. So it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. Thanks, you. Catch you later. Bye-bye. Explore New Zealand. Thank you for joining. Sol Emperor, thank you very much for joining. And thank you for the kind words. And Kapil, can you have a husky as a pet in New Zealand? Well, if you find a husky in New Zealand, yes, you can. I think you can. I've seen some people with husky dogs. So, yeah, you can. They are very fluffy and very nice dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the Antarctic Centre in Christchurch. They have
huskies. Oh, yeah. Actually, check out our video on that and you're going to see some huskies in New Zealand. Anyway, thank you very much for joining, guys. We will be back here next week at 8 a.m. New Zealand time at those time right here. USA, 4 p.m. EST, 12 p.m. PST. That's on Saturday. UK and France. UK, 9 p.m. France, 10 or 22 heures. À 22 heures, on se voit les Français. C'est samedi. UK Saturday 9 p.m. and India 1:30 a.m. We're sorry, I know it's really early, but it's really to find a time that works for everybody.
And apparently in Iran will be at
in Iran it would be
12:30.
Yeah, 12:30 a.m. in Iran. Guys, that is early. All right, thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely day. Make sure to like and subscribe because that helps us out a lot. And in the meantime, travel safe.
And see you next week. See ya.